G'day, battlers! Today we're doing part 2 of the Marsh Cup meta guide, looking into Galvantula, what it can, what it can't do in the Marsh Cup. And if you haven't seen part 1, which is the meta simplified infographic, you can click on the playlist over there to watch that. We'll watch it all in order, and if you're watching this later on, that'll also have the later episodes in it as well, so yeah. But today it is all about Galvantula. Now the reason I have this early team guide on the screen made by Up, Tangent444 and Twastel is because I was a little lost. I wasn't really sure how to tackle this meta guide, and with this team guide I'm basically going to be using it to guide my way through the cup, give me some groups to look at. You know, we're going to be looking at the Mud Boys, we're looking at the anti-spooders, the anti-Mud Boys, the anti-Whimsicots, and the Generalists, and we're also going to be looking at the Flyers, which is like a 7th group if you count Galvantula as a group. That we're going to be looking at today, but they really have written a fantastic article on GoStadium.gg. I'm going to link to that in the description below, and I definitely recommend that you check that out because it kind of really is lining up with all of the practice Marsh Cups that are going on at the moment, although maybe that is because they're like using this early team guide to help build their teams, but yeah, I'll remind you at the end of the video as well, so you don't need to remember. I'll remind you at the end, but yeah, that is something that you need to check out afterwards, but let's start getting into Galvantula. Now this is the one group that I have added from the meta simplified infographic to here that wasn't in the team building guide, and that's because the Flyers like are kind of a mud boy sort of counter, which are definitely going to be important. We'll talk about that more later, but yeah, Galvantula really wrecks the Flyers. It can win in every shield scenario, straight discharge, and against Pelipper especially because it has the water and flying typing, Pelipper isn't going to even be able to throw 2 charge moves. Like one charge move is all it's going to get before Galvantula takes it out. It can actually win in the 0 shield straight Volt Switch, not throwing any charge moves and not burning any shields, but it is really close because Pelipper's like, it has the Hurricane ready to go as you take it out with the last Volt Switch, and that Hurricane is going to take out Galvantula. So I think it might be worth just burning 1 shield on Galvantula to be safe, but yeah, you can Volt Switch Pelipper all the way down and unload the energy onto the next Pokemon, and that is going to be a lot of energy. Like you're going to be able to throw lunges and Volt Switches all over the place, discharges, not Volt Switches. You're going to be throwing everything everywhere. So yeah, really nice matchup if you can land yourself in it. But anyway, let's move on to a group that can actually do some real work against Galvantula, and that is the Mud Boys. So there actually are some instances where Galvantula comes out on top here, so let's kind of go through where the Mud Boys don't beat Galvantula. Like, don't get me wrong, the Mud Boys are pretty hard Galvantula counters, but there are some little nuggets. And one of those matchups is here, attack-weighted Galvantula versus attack-weighted Swampert. Basically, Galvantula is just going to be able to do, like, it does 1 extra damage with Volt Switch, usually it would be 8 damage, and then the attack versus attack gets it to 9, and then it does extra damage with these lunges as well. It goes from like 64-ish damage to 68, and that's just enough to take out Swampert before it gets his Hydro Cannon off. So clearly it's 1 turn off. It has the Hydro Cannon ready. It can still flip, but technically that is one way that Galvantula can win if your opponent has an attack Swampert and you've got an attack Galvantula. But I probably wouldn't recommend an attack Galvantula because this matchup right here, Galvantula versus Whiscash. Galvantula actually beats Whiscash in the 1 shield straight lunge, which I guess is probably why most people are going for Swampert as opposed to Whiscash, because why would bring a Mud Boy if it's not even going to beat Galvantula? But, you know, it is pretty close. Like, it only needs 1 more Mud Shot to get to this Mud Bomb, which is definitely going to KO. And you only need, like, 2 damage. It's got 6 health left. You only need 3 Mud Shots of damage to be able to take out Galvantula. So, yeah, no, 3 turns off winning. And if you have that attack-weighted Galvantula, it's actually going to take a little bit extra damage from this Blizzard, and you'll end up losing. And that's actually the same if it is Mud Bomb, like if it doesn't go for Blizzard at all. Whiscash still going to win if it's an attack-weighted Galvantula, and if it isn't an attack-weighted Galvantula, Galvantula is still going to win. Actually by a little bit of a better turn margin, but a little less health, but you know, like a little less health. I guess that's just how like the lunges and whatnot turn out, but yeah, Galvantula can get some wins in. But, you know, everywhere else, the Mud Boys are crushing it. Swampert is definitely, like, the primo Mud Boy, but we'll talk about that later on in the series, presumably, unless, like, the meta totally shifts or something, which it can happen. It can happen. Moving on to the next group in the team building guide, these 3 were part of the anti-Galvantula Pokemon. So, you can probably guess that that means that Galvantula doesn't really like them too much. Galvantula kind of loses in every shield scenario to all 3 of them. So, yeah, Alolan Marowak, Crustle, Whimsicott. Galvantula is a big no-no. And I should mention now, Whimsicott is one that I've kind of missed in my Marsh Cup progress, like through to now. It does beat Galvantula. It does beat Sableye. So those 2 things alone are going to make it pretty big in this cup, and I'm definitely going to power one up for the next battle video. Again, subscribe for that. I should mention the 0 shield, that Galvantula vs Whimsicott is a little close because Galvantula has the charge move ready to go when Whimsicott takes it out. So, you know, I feel like if you're going to be using Whimsicott, which has Charm, you're basically going to be ready to use a shield anyway, so I don't think it would really matter if you do get it off, because presumably they have that shield ready, but you can threaten a shield if you like get an extra turn advantage. Maybe like you switch into Galvantula, they switch in Whimsicott, and you've got 1 Volt Switch extra, you will be able to get that charge move off, but then Whimsicott's going to take you out anyway after they burn a shield. So yeah, you know, Galvantula, it's a no-no. Any of these Pokemon, just no. Now the next group on the graphic was the anti-mud boys, and I've picked 3 grass types here with Ferrothorn, Venusaur, and Jumpluff. There were a whole bunch of other ones here, so we've got like Azumarill, Dugong, Lapras all in the background. Galvantula is obviously actually going to do pretty well against those, but they are in the more background for a reason, because these grass types are definitely like, you know, the bigger mud boy players, and they're probably going to have more of a spot on more teams. Well, I mean, we'll see how the month progresses, but you know, maybe lots of people just use Azumarill because they have one powered up, they know it's bulky, they know how to use it, so Azumarill might have a really big showing, which can only help with Galvantula. But for the purposes of this video, we are just going to be using the Ferrothorn, Venusaur, and Jumpluff because they're pretty high on PvP poke. So Ferrothorn is actually really simple. Galvantula like beats it all the time, straight lunge, no question about it, and it's not even really that close. Just Galvantula has that one in the bag. Venusaur is a bit of an interesting one. So in the 0 shield and the 2 shield, Galvantula still wins in the like going straight lunge, but the 1 shield is a bit of another PvP poke oddity. So if you sim it on PvP poke, you see here that Galvantula is winning by 1 turn, like, you know, super close stuff, only has 6 health remaining. Venusaur has this Frenzy Plant ready to go that would take it out, but you can also see that it's going for the Frenzy Plant and then the Sludge Bomb. So if it went for the Frenzy Plant instead of the Sludge Bomb here, it would actually be able to get to 3 Frenzy Plants. So if we just take out Sludge Bomb and go straight Frenzy Plant, Venusaur actually wins here. Like, gets the 3 Frenzy Plants off, takes out the Galvantula like 1 Volt Switch before it even gets to a charge move. So, and that's the case for all of the IVs as well. So yeah, just another little bit of a PvP poke oddity there. It seems to like kind of have some problems with all of these like debuff and buff moves, which can be a massive pain, I'm sure. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Venusaur does win the 1 shield straight Frenzy Plant. Galvantula wins the 0 and the 2 straight lunge. Cool. And then Jumpluff, Galvantula wins in the 1 shield and the 2 shield, straight lunge. The 0 shield, it generally does win, but the attack Galvantula is going to lose to Jumpluff, basically just because it's going to be taking more damage from the Jumpluff, and it ends up being taken out before it can take out Jumpluff. But yeah, for the most part, it's winning that, and so that is the anti-Mud Boys. Moving on to the next group, here we have the Generalists. So we've got Sableye, Alolan Muck, and Gengar. Not really sure what the deal is with the Alolan Muck circle there, it's got like some sort of growth on it. These 3 dudes' big claim to fame is that they're not really going to lose any matchups like super hard. I guess Sableye is probably going to lose pretty hard to Whimsicott, but for the most part, they're going to have pretty even matchups everywhere. They're going to be able to put out a lot of damage even in the losing matchups, so definitely things to watch out for. So there's definitely some stuff going on here. So against Sableye, for example, Galvantula is going to lose the 0 shield to Sableye, and that is both with either Return or Power Gem. We're actually going to look at that in a sec, but in the 1 shield, Galvantula does win straight lunge, and the 2 shield. So the 2 shield is a bit of a brain buster. So here's the default stats Galvantula versus Return Sableye in the 2 shield. And you can see Galvantula's winning by 1 turn here. It's getting this discharge off, and Sableye has that foul play ready to go. If we go over to the Power Gem Sableye, however, we can see that Sableye's winning. And there's no discharge here. Instead, Sableye gets a foul play off. But if you kind of click back and forth between these scenarios, you can maybe try and like pause it to see the differences yourself. So basically it comes down to this. Sableye throws 2 Shadow Claws here to get up to the Power Gem before throwing a Foul Play bait, because Power Gem is a more efficient move than Foul Play in this matchup, whereas Return is actually like identical, so 1.57 DPE, 1.57 DPE. So like they're both as good as each other, so you're going to go for more Foul Players because they're less energy. So it doesn't charge up that extra Shadow Claw here and then just throws the Foul Play straight away, and there's no like Volt Switches going on here. So basically it's 1 Shadow Claw behind, and it needed that Shadow Claw to like then be able to throw the foul play. Like it has it ready to go, but the way that like all the turns work, this like a Volt Switch needs to go off before you get your energy. You know, mechanics that I don't fully understand myself that I probably need to learn up on, but basically it's a matter of when you throw the charge moves to whether you win the 2 shield or not. It like doesn't matter about move sets because it's just going both straight foul play in both instances. It's just farming up energy in the right time. So it's really like based on turn mechanics, where you can fit stuff in, where you can't. And I feel like with the kind of state of the game with like a little bit of lag here or there, I don't think that it's really going to play out in like anyone's favor in particular. So in this matchup, I would kind of just go, look, someone's going to win it. Could be me, it could not. I'm not going to try and like win that one out in a particular strategy. People who are really high level, you can definitely try and like figure out exactly what you need to do to get this done. Like try and get 2 Shadow Claws in after this lunge, down through the foul play before like a Volt Switch is coming through. You know, you can try and figure this out. I am I'm too much of a dum-dum. And I should have mentioned all of the matchups are like the same for buddy boosted Sable as well. So like it's the same, you know, 0 shield, 1 shield, 2 shield situation. And the 2 shield is still like, I don't know what's going on, man. But moving on to Alolan Mark, we're back in like stupid debuff moves, like messing with PvP Poke. PvP Poke's busy being such a hero, putting out so much stuff for us. And then like Galvantula has to come along and like, you know, infect it with lunge existing. So here in the default 0 shield, Alolan Mark is going to win by 4 turns. But if we just change this discharge to a lunge by just making it go straight lunge, then we will now find out that Galvantula wins by 9 turns. So yeah, go straight lunge, you're gonna win that. And the 1 shield is actually incredibly similar. I'm pretty sure I just showed you the 1 shield instead of the 0 shield, but they're the exact same situation as the 0 and the 1 shield. Like, you should be going straight lunge, and the simulations might have discharge instead first. The 2 shield though, straight lunge again, and you will win that one as a Galvantula versus Alolan Mark. Up against Gengar, in the 0 shield, Galvantula is going to win straight discharge this time. No more lunges, just straight discharge, you win against Gengar. In the 1 shield, Galvantula is going to lose, but it's going to have the charge move ready to go. So, you know, 1 volt switch, and you're going to actually flip that matchup against Gengar, which I think I mentioned that like in the Meta Simplified video or something, or maybe it's a battle video that like Gengar is very like flippy either way. If it has an energy advantage, it can flip matchups in his favor, but if your opponent has a little bit of energy on their side, then Gengar is probably not going to be looking that hot. So yeah, that's Gengar. Oh, 2 shield. Going back over to PvP Poke. In the like default sims, you'll have like this lunge goes through. Galvantula is going to win, shielding up 2 shadow punches, and this lunge gets shielded. You can actually just go straight volt switch, and you'll actually win this regardless. You're still going to have to burn like the 2 shields, but you will win that, and you'll end up with whopping 100 energy to throw ready to go. So that is obviously a lot of energy that you can use later on in the battle. Just throw a bunch of stuff. You're putting yourself at a 0-2 shield disadvantage though, which is like kind of rough. Like, you know, say they bring in a Alolan Marowak and they're just like ready to kind of farm you down. You will get some lunges off, but like then they're still probably gonna be able to beat you, and then you're 2 shields down. So it's maybe not the best play to go like 2 shields against Gengar, but maybe you can like throw a charge move like earlier on, try and force a shield, or just like throw it in here before this charge move comes through, so you can try and force that maybe 1-1 shield scenario or something like that. But yeah, that's Galvantula versus Gengar. So that's these, you know, generalist dudes matchups all over the place. Let's move on to the anti-Whimsicots, which Wormadam has a very skinny little circle there, but I was kind of like doing it like layers on top of each other, so I'm sure from my perspective it looks pretty normal, but yeah, now that I'm doing it layer by layer, that is a lot smaller than the circle that a Scavalier gets. So, you know, justice for Trash Wormadam. We've got Trash Wormadam, Fortress, and a Scavalier here. Trash Wormadam is going to pretty hard win in the 0 shield against Galvantula. In the 1 shield, it's a little bit like, basically there's a breakpoint. So in the default stats matchup here, we can see that Trash Wormadam is winning by 4 turns. There's got 8 health left, and these volts, which is doing 9 damage. So if you have an attack-weighted Wormadam, it's going to be taking more damage because it has less bulk. So you're actually going to be taking 10 damage, and that lets Galvantula win by 1 turn. This Iron Head is ready to go, but you do win that with, like, you know, some health remaining. It's just that charge move getting to it. And then similarly, if you have an attack Galvantula, you're also just going to be able to get that 10 damage breakpoint and be able to take out with that Iron Head ready to go at the end. So it's still like really close, and because it's an attack Galvantula, you're taking a lot more damage yourself. So we only have 13 health remaining this time, which it could be a good thing because there's less stuff to farm from the next Pokemon, but definitely some things to kind of maybe check your Galvantula IVs. Again, if you're not sure how to do that, you go up to this advanced stats and IV, you type in your, you know, your 14, 6, 7 defense, you can, you know, battle against whatever, and this one does get to that 10 damage breakpoint. The 2 shield Galvantula versus Wormadam though, Galvantula is going to be winning by 1 turn, and it's getting 2 lunges off here and then the discharge. Now this actually middle one can be a discharge as well. We can, you know, sandbox that and just show it, but you do need a mix of discharge and lunge to be able to win this matchup. Straight discharge, you're not going to be able to get it done. Straight lunge, you're not going to be able to get it done. So you do need a bit of a combo going on, and I think this lunge at the start is really helpful just to get that debuff onto the Trash Wormadam, so these confusions are doing a fair bit less. So it goes from doing 12 damage every confusion to 10 damage, and we've only got 5 health left remaining here, so you know, you really do want to get that lunge first. There maybe could be some complications with like this one not getting shielded, and instead they shield up this one, and then you're going to see that Trash Wormadam is actually winning. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle for Trash Wormadam to for Galvantula to win that matchup in the 2 shield. I don't know how often you're going to be in that matchup, but you know, if you're in the lead scenario, you really want to win out, and you like want to invest the 2 shields, just be wary that you're definitely going to like need some stuff to happen for that to happen. Moving on to Fortress, and again, as I mentioned in the Meta Simplified infographic, basically Fortress's win condition is if it lands the Earthquake. So in the 0 shield, it gets the Earthquake and it does win. In the 1 shield, the default stats are it is going to lose, but if we come over here to our almighty PvP poke, we can see default stats, we're winning, lunge, then discharge. Fortress is getting pretty close to getting that Earthquake off, but we are taking him out here with 28 health remaining as well. But if it's a rank 1 Fortress, it's basically going to have this extra health to survive this Volt Switch, get the Bug Bite off that it needs, and land the Earthquake with 1 health remaining. So that is like the top of the top rank Fortress is going to survive and get that off. I really wouldn't expect this to happen very often. Like in the 1 shield, I'm going to be pretty comfortable winning that matchup as Galvantula, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. And also this Mirror Shot can actually also be used here, and it's only got 19 health remaining at this point, so definitely some stuff to be careful of. Just don't don't bet the house on winning this matchup in the 1 shield, but you do generally win it. In the 2 shield though, Fortress doesn't have a chance of winning the 2 shield. It's not going to be able to get 2 Mirror Shots and then an Earthquake. It just charges up too slow. So Galvantula wins that straight discharge. And it's a similar story against the Escavalier as well, where Escavalier is actually going to get to the Mega Horn in the 0 shield, which is going to take out the Galvantula. But in the 1 shield or the 2 shield, Galvantula can either go straight lunge or it can go straight discharge. And it's going to win both shields, both movesets, whatever you want. Escavalier is out. So that is all of the matchups for this like general look into Galvantula, what it can do, what it can't do in the cup. So just to kind of speed through and recap, Flyers, Galvantula was obviously very good. Mud Boys, Galvantula was not very good. It can win that 1 shield against Whiscash straight lunge, so that is something to keep in mind. Anti-Galvantula, Anti-Mudboy was pretty good. You only lose that 1 shield against Venusaur when it goes throughout Frenzy Plant. Again, the PvP poke sims are a little bit off on that. The Generalists, Ghost, Dark dudes. Sableye was the really weird one with the 2 shield that I do not know how to win at all. Someone way smarter needs to explain it in like terms I can understand. Lol and Muck was the one where PvP poke's a little bit off again, where you don't want to go straight lunge and you're going to win that 0 in the 1 shield. Don't do the lunge discharge thing. And Gengar is the one where there's nothing too special about Gengar. You're going to have a charge move ready to go in the 1 shield that you're not going to be able to get off. And in the 2 shield, it's kind of, you're not really going to get any charge moves off. You can just Volt Switch all the way down, and you will generally come out on top. And finally, the anti-Whimsicots. Werberdam was a bit back and forth. Fortress, it just needs to land the Earthquake, so if it can't do that, it doesn't win. So the rank 1 does win in the 1 shield because it has enough health to get to the Earthquake. And Escavalier, as long as you burn 1 shield with the Galvantula, you're going to win that matchup no matter what moves you're going for. And yeah, that is Galvantula in the Marsh Cup. And again, massive shout out to Polymerzar, Tangent444 and Twostel for putting together this early team guide. Like, I've cut some off the bottom, but please go and read that article. I'll link to that in the description below. Go and click that. And also shout out to PvP Poke, because PvP Poke, not only does he have like the perfect tool of like all Pokemon Go PvP, but also like he kind of gave me a little push in the direction to like kind of give me some inspiration to get this video going with the Galvantula, what it can and what it can't do, what it beats, what it doesn't beat. So definitely like, massive shout out to him. Love that man with all his puns. And yeah, with that said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons with this image that I'm just blatantly using from like a battle video, or the battle video that came out yesterday. brajSF, -10, not already give me Yahwertle, SqeakyNL, charizardyong, and primativedoc, and actually missing Melton9458. But thank you to all of my patrons, and also thanks to SetDP for the Twitch mode, primativedoc for the sub, Oscars for the sub, Readyford for Maze for 5 to the subs, all out of whack here. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Do go check out that article about the team building. It'll really put your head like kind of in the right mindset of how to approach this cup. And yeah, with all that said, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe because we're like super close to 2k subs, which by the point this video is uploaded, we might have already hit it. So if that is the case, woohoo!